welcome to Two Non-Doctors. I'm Liz Mealy.
I'm Maria Shahada.
I heard you're stressed.
Yes.
A little birdie text message said you were stressed.
Yeah. You make it sound like I have an assistant that was like, please help.
Please be respectful of Maria's time. She is stressed.
She's like, just be nice to her so she's nice to me. Huh?
I was going to make a joke about hitting people. It's fine. It doesn't need to be made.
All right. It's just a big event coming up with the pre-period week. So those two have collided into somebody who doesn't want to do anything.
Yes, I'm with you. I'm there. I'm on that journey with you. I'm past the big event. I'm past the big event. So mine's now like, I'm tired. I no longer have motivation to do anything. And it's that time of month. And I was like, and I'm just a mess.
Oh, good. So we're in the same place.
Yeah, I had to mail something certified that had like a deadline. And I mean, like lawyers, like real people were harassing me about this thing, which let me just tell you what it was. I got a little bit of stock from a friend that started a startup and I helped him. And he was like, hey, it was really nice that you helped me. Do you want some stock? And I was like, sure. He's like, it's nothing right now, but clearly, hopefully someday it'll be something. So it's worth $6.12. He's given me $6.12. And afterwards, I get an email from his lawyer being like, hey, you have to do this.
That's such a Jack and the Beanstalk story, isn't it? It's like, here are 3 beans. They're magical beans. It's like how we've been paid throughout our comedy career.
We'll give you
God. Exposure. And then from that, you can build.
And I was helping him just to help him because I believed in the project or whatever. And then he offered it. And I was like, yeah, why not? Like, what's the worst that could happen? It turns into nothing. But it was the worst thing because I've never had stock before, whatever. And next thing you know, I get an email from their lawyer and they're like, you have exactly a month to sign this, and this. You have to send this certified to the IRS. You have to send this to your accountant. You have to send this to us. You have to prove that you sent it. And I was like, and it was like truly like the week of my taping. And I was like, yo, I'm going to wait until after and you can remind me. And then you know me, I read it and I'm like, I don't want to do this. So like I gotten 4 emails from both the person that gave me the stock and the whatever people to be like, did you do it? Did you do it? Did you do it? And I finally did it yesterday, but I was like, it was the only thing I had to get done yesterday because I was like losing. And I told my mom, I was just like, if he would have said it was stock, but you would have had to do things, I would have been like, oh no, thank you.
You keep it. I don't want to have to go to a post office to send anything certified for any amount of money, let alone $6.
I've now spent the amount of money he gave me in sending it certified.
Well, I hope this stock grows. I hope these beans
me too. Because right now he's giving me nothing. He's giving me nothing except for anxiety.
You're being punished for your there's a saying about being punished for being nice, but I don't remember what it is.
So I mean, it was a real. And I was exhausted yesterday. I didn't sleep at all this weekend. So I genuinely like woke up from a nap and I was like, you have one thing to do. Go to the post office.
Yeah.
Here's Lunchy. He says hi.
Hi, Lunchbox.
So you're stressed, which is fine. Just lean into the stress.
I'm stressed and I'm still tired. I went to Dublin. I did 10 shows in Dublin. Dublin's a weird place. I liked it. I liked some of it. I don't understand because the shows are hit or miss. And like they were either like really good. Well, they weren't actually. They were good. I had some great shows. I had some really bad shows that I haven't had in a while. And then I had some fine shows. So I couldn't get a grasp on Dublin whatsoever. But like they remind me of like the gigs here like Angel, because it's like a lot of expats and a lot of visitors and mixed in with Irish people. So I do well in clubs here. So I thought, well, it'll be the same. People, tourists are tourists.
Yeah, and you murdered when we were in Dublin. I mean, you did the opening for me, and then we both did a set afterwards. I bombed like my ass, probably the hardest bomb I've had in a long time. And then you murdered. And so it was like, maybe I'm not right.
What I've noticed is that whoever goes on after the bomb gets relief laughter. We're so happy you're not that other person.
Thank God she's gone. Thank God.
That's the kind of laughter it is. Because I had your set a couple of times where it just bombed. And then I'd listen. I couldn't help but hear the person after me killing. And it's just like, all right. All right.
Yeah. And it's like, and that's the thing is when it's a hard audience and you bomb, you don't think anything of it. But like, especially when I bombed, like the host did well. I had silence, like true silence, to the point where I was like, am I missing words? Like, did I stop? Like maybe I'm in such autopilot that I'm not saying the full joke. And then you murdered and it was like, oh, they did not enjoy any part of me.
I think it's going first because I went first and bombed. But I also think if maybe it's that we don't like say something about Dublin off the top, or just American girls who just start talking about whatever.
But
I don't know.
It's also like, what are you, children, that I have to ease you in? Like, fuck you. Like, that was the one thing that made me angry is like, I'm sorry, you can't just get on. You bought tickets to a comedy club. Someone's already told some jokes and I have to, reintroduce you. I have to be like, it's like if every single person came up to you at a party and was like, thank you so much for inviting me to your party. Your dress is beautiful. This is such a great layout of food. And then I start talking about something like, what do you do? Like,
yes.
You know why we're here. Like, this is insane. It didn't feel good and it made me sad, but it was also like, fuck you. I'm sorry.
Sure. Like that's funny because like when I was at the International, the guy was like, "If you've been doing as well as you have been doing this weekend, I will like book you again for 20s." Because he gave me 10s this time, which like the elusive 20 is like I'm so sick of it. Like I don't want anyone's 20 anymore. I'm pissed off. Like don't make me prove myself. I don't know how many hoops I have to jump through. Fuck your 20. But like, so he was like, oh, I hope I didn't jinx you. And then I go up and bomb. And then, you think, okay, I might have bombed, but maybe nobody noticed. And then he's like, I won't say anything. We'll see.
Yeah. You you legit have mud all over your outfit. And you're like, maybe they think it's a part of it. Like, it's
exactly.
fine. Yeah. I smell a little weird, but nobody can tell. I can tell. Nobody tells.
Yeah. And he's like, oh, I did jinx you. And then he was like,
some responsibility because it is like, come on, dude.
Yeah. He was like, now I can't invite you back I was like, I don't want to come back. Why doesn't that factor? He was joking. Yeah. But I was like, why doesn't that factor in? What if like I don't enjoy this club is also a factor? But I mean, I also had good shows. So
yeah. But it's also like that's the thing about comedy is like it's a different audience, it's a different thing every time. So this idea of like, oh, you gotta murder so that we can know that you're good enough. It's like, yeah, man, I've been doing this for over 20 years. You don't think I know how to handle most audiences, and you don't think that sometimes it doesn't go well? Like sometimes it just doesn't go well. It's like it would be like expecting every day to be a great day. It's like it just doesn't. Like
it just doesn't.
It just doesn't.
There's nothing you could do about it. The only thing that got me through it was I remember you saying, I think we did it off camera. It was like after we recorded a podcast. And I was like, I just don't understand why that guy heckled me. I haven't been heckled or like that in years. And you were like, oh no, you're going to like, you have to have bad sets in a run up to a TV taping. Like that's when the taping's going to go well. And that's what like made me feel better. And then I was like, oh, the universe is testing my like comedy core strength. It's like, will you wobble if you do this poorly? And like the first one I did wobble, I like forgot part of my joke and I was like, what the hell is going on? And then I was like, actually, it's fine. But yeah, that booker was like, he's like, I gotta hand it to you. You hung in there. And I'm like, what? What?
You think I'm gonna cry and be like,
I was like, what am I gonna slither off and be like, you're right, I suck.
Yeah.
Fuck them.
The whole time you were on stage, you were just like, what is wrong with you guys? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's just like, at no point am I like, what's wrong with me at this point? It's just like,
I do think that's the turning point with being like a comedian. Like, it's like whenever you bomb when you start out, you're like, oh my God, I do suck. I don't know what I was thinking doing this. And then eventually you get to the point where you're like, no, it's not me.
Yeah. And it's also, if I bomb and I fucked up, it's like, all right, that was, I was off for whatever reason. But if I bomb and I gave the same energy I give and I'm working hard and I'm proud, like I'm proud of the jokes, I'm like, hey man, I'm sorry, you can't follow a story? Like, I'm sorry you guys aren't adults. Like, I can't
Yeah.
fix that. I can't
That was
fix.
that was another thing that made me feel better is that there's this comedian named Jack who lives in London, but he's Irish, so he goes back to Dublin sometimes to, and he was like, he was doing a different club as well as, like, we overlapped by a club. And he was like, the other club was so hard. He was like, every sentence was a job. He's like, I'm using my body. He's like, I'm trying to sell this material. And they were not having it.
Yeah. Ugh. Ugh. I'm very tired. I'm like, I think you would kind of get this. I flew in early. My rooms weren't ready, both cities. And I was like, do you have like any idea? And like, I try to be nice about it, but I'm also like, you're telling me you have 0 rooms right now. 0. There's not one. And I was like, you don't want to check? And they're like, we don't need to check. And I'm like, cool.
You were looking for a hotel room?
No, I got in early, and usually I can check in early. Like I was doing a festival, and the festival's like, hey, we told them that you're checking in early. They didn't, or somebody. It's always like either somebody didn't take the notes or somebody didn't call. Like somebody didn't do something, but everybody was like, nah. And then I was like, okay. I was like, I work at night. I'm not okay. Like I try to actually go empathy route. I go, I totally get it. I go, I'm not okay. Can I be put on a list? Can you just let me know? This one woman was so cold that I was like, you should not be in hospitality. Like you are like, I truly was at a moment where I was just like, either you're in the wrong profession or you're having a day where you have to be cold so you don't murder somebody. But I was like, she was just such a, not unfriendly, like truly cold person. And so I'm doing everything to be, you know, when like you either are shitty or you overcompensate with kindness. I was just like, level 10 kind. I was like, thank you so much. Like I was acting like she was being really kind even though she wasn't. And I was like, I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. I was like, if you could put me on a list, I was like, it would really mean a lot. She's like, we're not going to have anything earlier than 2 p.m. I was like, that would be devastating for my whole life if that's true. So if there's any way. And so for both of them, they both were like, there's nothing going to be available before 2. And I was like, here's my number. If you could call, I would really mean a lot. Thank you so much. I thanked them even when they weren't being nice. And then both of them, I went to go get a cup of coffee. So if I got there at like 9 a.m., I got a cup of coffee. One got me at 10. And I was like, oh no, I'm filled with caffeine. And I just couldn't. I never could sleep. For both of them, I caffeinated because I thought I was going to have to be awake for hours. And I was like in like not okay headspace. And then I got my little laptop out, was about to work, and they're like, your room's ready. And I was like, no, guys.
Oh.
And then of course, by the time I got tired, it was time to go to the club.
Sure, of course.
So I got like over caffeinated. I had many beverages. So many beverages.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't do shit when I was in Dublin.
Did you walk around a bit? It's funny because it's like, if anybody's from Dublin, they're gonna murder me when I say this. Like, it's like, it doesn't seem much different from the UK. You know what I mean? Like, sorry, I know we're gonna get hate mail, but like, it's cool. I like it, but like, at no point I was like, this is so different. Like, Scotland has like castles and shit. Like, I feel like I'm somewhere else in Scotland.
I know that there are things to see in Dublin that you can't see anywhere else. I didn't look them up. I didn't walk. I walked the 20 minutes to the venues and then the 20 minutes back. I saw plenty. But
I like it there. There's places where I get off the plane and I'm like, oh, this is different. I feel like
I love that on our tour. It was like we decided in advance which cities we were going to see. And which cities we were going to sleep through.
And like our biggest fight was, I was like, let's sleep through Berlin. And you're like, I've never been here. I was like, dude, you don't need to, I promise you. And you're like, no. And then like after an hour, you're like, thank you for letting me discover that on my own. That we
genuinely surprised. There's something that we're both missing about Berlin because people love Berlin. And I didn't find it. But. Yeah,
I would love for somebody to give me a list because I don't see it. There's nothing wrong with it.
Where could we get a list of things to do in a city?
No, you go on the internet and it's such shit. It's like, go to the zoo and like, here's a thing that's $400. There's the list, the travel advisory lists or the like, what's the best thing to do in the city lists are always full of shit. And I also know like it doesn't take me much to like I love Utrecht, but literally for Utrecht, I looked up like antique shops in Utrecht and I found so all the antique shops are along the old canals in Utrecht. And I love Utrecht because it's just pretty and there's all these cool like antique shops that are pretty affordable along this really beautiful like walk or whatever. And it's just like easy and nice and I like it. And then like Berlin, it's just like you look stuff up and it's just like, what is this? Like it's
Maybe
like
maybe it's Berlin's nightlife that everyone loves because neither of us would know anything about that.
exactly. And I think that actually might be what is the problem is that one, that's not what we would be interested in anyway. And B, we're working. But I mean, for me, it's like cute little coffee shops and like pretty streets or a pretty area with like either cool art or like, I did do a lot of walking around. I don't know if it was Berlin or somewhere else in Germany, and it just had really cool street art and it was really nice. But there was just like it was like dirty like New York City without like the charm. And
Yeah.
I feel bad saying that because the audiences are great. I love the Berlin audiences, but like the day life of Berlin, I was uninspired.
It's almost like it was bombed or something.
But so was Rotterdam in the Netherlands, and they decided instead of, they decided to get funky with it and weird, and they're like known for their architecture. Like I was
Yeah.
just in Detroit. Detroit was like literally like destroyed and like truly considered like one of the shittiest cities in America. And it has actually pretty beautiful architecture. And two, they decided like, hey, we got abandoned. We need to rebuild. And it's pretty cool. Like I really like Detroit and I really like what they've done in the last like 5 or 6 years to like build back up. And I know it's gone through hard times and it's still figuring its shit out. But like, I don't know. I think a city decides when it's like given up. And there's a part of me that's like people have made some like, we're never going to be cool decisions. The same way that they kind of wrote off New York City after the pandemic. They're like, you're never coming back. I was like, we're going to come back. Like there's too many people that live here for us not to
New
come
York
back.
City was never. Yeah, that's insane. That's an insane. Anyone who thought that was dumb. Yeah. The last thing I'll say about Dublin. Did we get knocked around a lot walking? Because I just felt like people would not. I was ignored so much, and people like would just they didn't move like like I was moving out everyone else's way basically, or I got knocked into, or one person opened a door that opened out into the street instead of in and hit me on the arm, and I have this like bruise on my arm. Like I just was so ignored while I was walking that I felt like I was like, is this the Sixth Sense?
Yeah, did I die? Did I bomb and kill myself? And then because I did it in Dublin, I have to roam the streets of Dublin.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Positive note, I got to catch up with my friend Laura, and that was really nice. And we had a nice lunch and got coffee, and she brought me some crystals. So
everything's going Maria's way.
Everything's coming up Wiccan.
Yeah, I like how you're like, and now we're doing a seance. So if everybody could tell us your birthday, you want to get into announcements?
Yeah, let's do it.
And then googly googs.
That's yes.
Yes. Okay. What is happening? I think I'm gonna be not the week this comes out, but the following week. I think. Oh, were you cheersing? I was looking down.
I have an Irish. I'm like talking shit about Dublin. I have an Irish mug. I feel like a hypocrite
the whole time. So I'm gonna be in Pittsburgh and Cleveland. My cats are on my calendar. Which is like the ultimate excuse. And then I don't know where else I am. Everything's at lizmealy.com. I just added Miami in February because I've been being harassed about Florida. Me and you are going to be in Batavia, Illinois, and Baltimore in December. But I have a bunch of stuff a little bit of stuff in October, but a bunch of stuff in November, and I can't remember. So I'm the worst at this, lizmealy.com. And yeah.
Yeah, I'm doing my solo play reading. So
nice.
my solo show, I've been turning into solo play. So I've been taking out the jokes and putting in the sadness. So I'm
Perfect.
doing a reading of that November 10th, in
Brett.
Islington at the Dally in
Oh, cool.
Islington. And then there's tickets on my website, mariashahada.com.
Nice.
And thank you to all our patrons. You guys are the best. We really appreciate you.
Oh, we
And
gotta. Oh, sorry. Finish your thing.
no, I was gonna say, what did we get?
We got like a cute little message. This is from Jill. So I forget what episode we did a couple of weeks ago, but we were complaining about the hair dryers in hotels, and we're like, "Who is that for? Like, who are these shitty, dumb hair? Because we need diffusers regardless. But even if I didn't need a diffuser, those are like 1985 hair dryers that I swear are made with like they
Well,
were.
Marianne, was it Brussels? That was literally from like 1945. This hairdryer.
Dude, truly some of the worst hair dryers. And it's like when they're just like amenities and you're like, "Hey man, this isn't an amenity. Like this is shit." But anyway, she goes, so you just need to bring, so this is from Jill. She goes, "You just need to bring a diffuser sock when you travel, and then you can use the hotel hair dryers. I have the hot sock from Amazon, but they have lots of options. You just need to search diffuser sock." And she said, "Just a tip from a
Whoa.
fellow curly girl." And I was like,
Hang
"Ooh,
on. You might have
yeah,
just changed my life.
I know."
Diffuser.
Because like I have a travel diffuser that kind of like scrunches, like kind of breaks down a little bit, but it only works.
Like a colander. It like goes down into
Yes.
like 2D.
Yes. And it's good, it's decent, but the whole reason I bought it is I thought I could put it cuz it's like kind of hard silicone. I thought I could put it on any hair dryer, but you can't. So I still have to bring my hair dryer, and it's like it doesn't save that much space. The whole reason I bought it is I thought I could put it on anything, and it does not fit on anything. So when she told me about the sock, I was going to look it up because that sounded like a perfect solution.
I
Let me
don't
see
know
the
if I can. I don't. Look at this child.
I love this child that's like, I did not agree to this. How much does it say it is? That weird.
Mom's just. Oh, hold on. That's not right. Hold on. Oh, $7.99.
Oh, that's worth the risk if it
Worth it.
sucks.
It's worth trying. The child's like.
The child was like, I don't like that. I don't like this. I've been doing a lot more air drying. I mean, my hair looks like shit right now, but I've been doing a lot more air drying, and that's one, it's better for you to not have heat on your hair, but it has, since the success rate of curly hair, even when you style it the same way, is like 60%, it's been the same success rate whether I air dry or not. So I've just been lazy, and I really hate blowing.
I just want to point out your shoulder movements, whether I air dry or not.
I've been very shouldery lately, and then with my
Yeah.
long neck, I look crazy. All right, you want to get into googly googs?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and follow us on the things, all the things.
At Tune On Doctors on YouTube and Twitter. It's the number 2 _ doctors. At Tune On DRS on Instagram. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, and then thank you, Jill, for this hot tip,
Yeah.
curly hair tip. Okay, I'll go first. My googly goog. So, I don't know, like, we've been talking a lot about protein. I'm trying to find different proteins. I'm trying to get in more. Like, you're supposed to have 30 grams of protein per meal. But what they don't tell you is, like, I can't eat that much. Like, I ate 2 eggs, bacon, and then I was like, oh,
I
I'll have
thought you
some.
were supposed to have 60 grams of I've been trying to eat 60 grams of protein.
A meal?
No, a day.
Oh,
You're
yeah.
saying a meal.
I'm saying 30 a meal.
Oh, shit. You're going to be all Arnoldy.
Dude, but I can't do it. Like, I was like, oh, maybe cottage cheese. So I had, like, cottage cheese, 2 eggs, and bacon. And I felt sick. Like, it was too much food. I can't eat that much.
Did you calculate right? That can't be right.
It was like 30.
I weigh more than you, right? I calculated it out. And if you're working out and you want to build muscle, it's, for me, 60 grams a day. So for you to have 90 grams a day, considering you might have 3 meals.
I'm not, but I can't. I'm just not. They're just saying at least have one meal that has 30. because I can't do 90, but they're saying it has to be in the meal. It has to be 30 grams. And I
We've
just
talked
like,
about this so many times because sometimes, like, you were the one who had a Google that said, I'm pointing at you. You're the one that had a Google that said it doesn't actually matter when you have protein. Like, because we were talking about having it right after you work out.
yeah, so it doesn't matter if you have it before or have to, like, my whole thing is they were like, you have to do it within a half hour of working out or it doesn't matter. And that's not true. It has to be just like within 24 hours. But this is the fast like a girl, but I've seen a bunch of other things that are like they basically keep making fun of women. They're like, you're not going to make muscle eating 2 eggs. And I was like, but that's the perfect amount. So my mom was trying to tell me like do 2 regular eggs and then a bunch of egg whites to build up. But I don't know, man. I was thinking about
How
like,
muscular do you want to be? Like, what's the end result for this?
I'm not trying to bodybuild. I'm just trying to like, I just feel like I'm stagnant, and like for somebody that works out a fair amount, I don't feel like I'm getting stronger, and I would like to get stronger. And I thought maybe it's because I eat like a bird. And so I was just trying to like eat a bit more, but
Okay.
like, and then also they kind of say because I would like to lose weight, which sounds counterintuitive, but they also say when you're struggling to lose weight, it's because you're actually not taking in enough calories. And I basically eat breakfast and then I eat dinner. Like I don't really, I might have like a little bit of a snack. And so I've been trying to snack better. Like when I snack, I try to have like cottage cheese or something with protein. Anyway, my dad always used to snack on imitation crab. Like he would just like get a thing of imitation crab and he would just eat it. And me and my brother got pokey, I don't know, like a couple weeks ago, and took a bite of it. I was like, oh, this is so good. He's like, oh yeah, that's imitation crab. I was like, oh, I think I love
They
imitation.
call it imitation crab. Like, not crab with a K. You know what I mean? Like, why would you call it such a horrible sounding name?
I
Because
agree.
it's actually pretty good. It tastes good.
It
But
does
like,
taste good. And I was like ready to give myself to imitation crab. I was like, this is who I am. I'm going to
Sure.
imitate. And then they were like, and then the internet's like, no, like, don't do it. So I basically was like, what is imitation crab? And, oh crap, it clicked on something. Okay. Oh, here it is. Okay, imitation crab is highly processed food made by combining minced fish with starch, egg whites, sugar, salt, and additives to mimic the flavor, color, and texture of real crab meat. While it's significantly less expensive than crab, it's less nutritious. So I read a whole Healthline article that basically was like, it's just like, it's not worth it. Like, especially since every single diet is like, get off processed food. And I was like, yeah, but what about fake crab? And they're like, girl, no, don't do it.
so
Like,
processed.
it's so and it's really good. I'm not gonna fight it. Like if it's in a thing, I'm gonna have it. And like, but like, but I don't know. I can't. It basically answered the question of like, if it's there, I'll have it, but it's not gonna be like my protein of choice. That was
Okay. And you're just looking for things to snack on that aren't like crackers and chips and cookies and shit.
yeah. And I've been quite bad leading up to my special that is what I was doing. But before that, like my boyfriend keeps making fun of me because I made him buy me string cheese, and I have string cheese because it's like a perfect. He's like, what are you, 9? And I was like, yeah, I've always ate like a 9-year-old. I'm slightly better than I was. Like you're lucky my chicken nuggets aren't in the shape of dinosaurs. Like just like the only reason I don't eat fully like a child is because my stomach said no thank you. But like I am trying to, if I'm going to reach for a snack, what's the better? So like a string cheese like truly satiates me, and I don't feel like I'm reaching for a cookie. I don't feel like because otherwise I would just like have some chocolate or like whatever. So I thought because I liked it, it would be, but I was like, I don't want to. I'm not saying string cheese isn't processed, by the way. Like I'm waiting for somebody to be like, you dumb. But like I'm just trying to find like slightly better options. And I thought,
Yeah. Well, I mean, why not cut up some bell peppers? They're sweet and they're delicious.
true. And I do need to like eat more vegetables. I ate so horrible in Detroit. I think I gave myself a rash because my skin broke out again. It's doing better, but like truly woke up the next morning like itchy as shit. I had 2 donuts. I ate like I'm
You and I
falling.
are pathetic, by the way. We're pathetic people. Remember when I got a hangover after the wedding because I had too much cake? Like, we're pathetic.
Yo, dude, this is 40s, man. This is what it is. Oh, I'm writing a joke about us. I tried it in Chicago yesterday because I forget when you.
I am so honored. Go on.
Yeah, well, it's just about like how ridiculous it is to get older, because and it kind of reminds me of like our inside joke from when you moved to LA and we were getting ready to go hiking, and I'm just wearing like running shorts and like a wife beater, and you were like, "Is that what you're wearing?" And I was like, "Yeah, you said we're going hiking." You're like, "It's kind of a scene," and I was like, "Okay." She's like, and you were like, "Just put on these earrings. Let's go." Like,
grab your lipstick. Let's go.
it was a little bit like that, but I forget you were with me and you were like, "Ooh, ankles, like you're not supposed to wear ankle socks anymore." And I was like, "What do you mean?" And you're like, "The youth, you know what I mean? Like Gen Z."
I had something to say about ankle socks.
You did. You said we were talking about like.
I swear to God, I've never mentioned ankle socks.
I'm pretty sure it was you because
Are you sure it wasn't Emmy? That sounds like an Emmy thing to say.
It wasn't Emmy. I'm almost.
Why would I ever say anything about ankle socks? I love ankle socks. Which ones? The ones that you can't see, like with your shoe? Because those are great.
Yeah.
I love those.
I'm almost positive it was you because we were talking about how it's the middle part now. Like the kids are doing the middle part. You might.
Yeah, the middle part, sure. Yeah. Ankle socks. I just bought some cruise socks with stripes on them, and they go up to my, they go up to my knees.
Anyway, it was truly about like they're gonna know that you're older. They're gonna know that you're old because you're wearing ankle socks. I was like, hey, there's other signs.
I didn't say that. Yeah.
They're not starting ankle up.
I don't know shit about socks being like hip or not. All I know is that they don't do telephones like this anymore.
I knew that.
and then the parting in the hair of the middle, like, and then skinny jeans are out, even though I continue to wear them because
dude, I'm not gonna. You can't stop me.
You can't stop me.
I'm not buying new pants, dude. I can't. I'm trying to like just live. I'm just trying to downsize the shit I haven't worn in years, but I'm not trying to bring in more. Anyway, what was your? We've off topic. What's your googly googs?
Well, my first one was why do I speak gibberish to myself?
What? Huh?
Because sometimes I'll just start speaking gibberish just because it's fun. I don't know. I just do it. Sometimes I do it to Johnny, and it unnerves him. So I try not to with him around. I'll just speak gibberish, just for no reason. But I asked the internet if why I did that, and the internet said I might be mentally ill. But
you know how the internet's like always like it's either you have cancer or it's not a big deal, right? It's like down the middle. And I like how the internet's like, girl, check yourself into an institution because it ain't right.
Yeah, you need to stop that now. So I couldn't find anything to like say like sometimes you just want to. I don't know what I was looking for.
Can you give me an example of what you mean that you talk gibberish?
I won't. I don't think so. I'm not going to be on record talking gibberish.
But is it like to yourself the way, you know how sometimes you're like, I locked the door, right? Like you kind of talk to yourself a little bit.
No,
like out loud.
that's when you're talking to yourself. That's normal. The gibberish though, that was unsupported.
Sure. But where is your headspace when you're speaking gibberish? Are you vacuum cleaning and you're just kind of keeping yourself company? Like it's almost vibrational.
I was peeing the last time. And I just
you just didn't want to be alone?
Do you know what I mean? Like you might sing to yourself. So it was just sort of like hearing my voice. And it was like I wasn't like communicating anything. I wasn't like, oh, what am I saying here? I was just speaking nonsense.
I mean, I'm concerned, I'll be honest, as a non-internet.
I don't think so. I don't do it a lot. I don't think there's any reason to be concerned. Nobody hasn't.
I look how I like pull out a notebook and a pen. I'm just like, no, speak more on that.
Yeah. I don't think it's weird. I'm not mentally ill. I just think it's just something for my mouth and vocal cords to do. I think that's all it is.
Yeah.
Johnny doesn't like it. So I don't do it. But no, and it's not a lot. And it's not like I have like, I should come up with like a language. I should like record it and like have like now I have my own language and that would be respected. You just speak gibberish and you don't do anything with it. You're crazy.
Exactly. But if you, start a new religion with a new language, everybody's just like, she's a pioneer.
Exactly. Like nobody worries about, who was it, Game of Thrones or House of Dragon? They have their own fucking Dragos language. I don't know anything about sex.
Neither do I. But somebody did something and they made millions off it. So why not you?
Exactly. I can make millions instead of worrying about being mentally ill, which I'm not, obviously. But so
I'm glad we have this on tape for when it all goes to shit. And it was just like on this day.
Yeah, I know. So then I Googled how many almonds are you supposed to eat in a day?
That's where the mental illness is, by the way. You're like, is this normal? No? We're just going to ignore that. Can I have a whole bag of almonds?
Yeah. All right. We'll talk about almonds then. I thought it was 5, and it turns out it's 23. That was great news for me because when I was in the hotel in Dublin, I bought like a snack pack of, like a big package of like mixed nuts and fruit. But I'm like, this is so many almonds if you're only supposed to have 5. Like I'm going way over budget. But I Googled it and I was like, oh no, I'm fine.
It's the Brazil nuts that you can only have 2 of or you like die.
Which is insane to me. It's like,
why are we even playing this game?
Knowledge. Why are you selling them in a package where you can easily binge 30 of them if 2 will kill you?
No, it's insane. It's like truly insane. Like you find out, like they're huge and you're just like, cool. And then like, they're literally like, hey, if you have too many, you might die. And you're like, yeah, man, then don't even give me one. Why are you even tempting me with Brazil nuts? Whatever. I can't do this. I cannot.
I love that whatever after. You just lose me. Whatever.
I just can't. I can't with fucking life. Thank you so much, everybody, for listening.
Thanks, guys.
We're going to be back. We'll be back. We'll see you next week. I had a couple people say nice things about our podcast in the last 2 weeks, being like,
oh, thank you. I love hearing that stuff. Thanks.
We like in-person ones. We like leave us comments. We love it. So thank you. Thank you for listening. And we'll see you next week.
See you next week. Bye.
Bye.